Oi, what did I get myself into on this Saturday afternoon? Very special guest. Interesting things to discuss. Phil, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Good. I could barely hear you with your goofy earpiece in.
Oh, really? It's
Oh
usually.
no, there you go. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. It usually works pretty well. It usually works very well. Uh, Phil, how are you today, my sir?
I'm scratching my eye, but I'm doing well.
I see that. Do you have a cornea issue going on right now, sir?
I have a cornea issue like you have a shin issue.
Oh, hey, no virtual shin kicks. There's been some chatter on the face page about you kicking me through Skype. So let's not get into any of that. You keep your feet over there. I'll keep my shins over here, and I think we'll have a fine soiree, if you will.
I have literally no idea what you're talking about, but that's not accustomed with most of your interviews.
Uh, no, no, not at all. I'm going to start in an odd place. Uh, did you not just finish off with an interview right before this?
I did.
Uh, was it with the future? We like to call him the future, Donovan Dwyer, 16-year-old, the future.
I like to think of him as the past, but yes, I was with him.
Oh, he's not going to like that. I'm sure it went well. He has some fine questions. He likes to get the chatter going a little bit. I'm sure you had a fine time with Mr. Donovan.
I did. You know what the most interesting thing about him was is that he did the interview and he wasn't smoking a cigarette.
Oh, I apologize. I'm very nervous.
You
Uh,
should be.
I am, and that's why I'm smoking it. And I know it's probably unprofessional to do an interview, if you will, while smoking on the old cigarette. But hey, I'm very nervous.
This is like the old roasts with Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, um, Don Rickles. I don't know, Phyllis Diller. When they were drinking bourbon and had a cigarette. I'm sure your bourbon's coming in soon. So
some of my faves. I love those old school roasts. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Ref Bill just brought me back a little bit. Not as back as far as he is, but man, did you bring me back? Wow. I don't have any alcoholic beverages this time. Boys and girls, last time this is your turn. Yeah, I tried. I tried on a DL, if you will. What I did, because this kind of came quickly, and this just was scheduled last night. So what I tried to do was get Lisa Thomas up at Battlefront Pro Wrestling, who provided me with that beautiful mason jar filled with that apple cinnamon moonshine that we partook in last time we sat down. But I don't have anymore because I polished it off. Christina Marie, courageous Christina Marie.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
So anywho, what I was trying to do was maybe get Lisa Thomas to whip up a quick batch, shoot me an email, some of that moonshine, but I checked my email and nothing came through.
I'm sure every one of your fans is disappointed.
all of my one being Papa Kincaid. Oh, two. All of two being Papa Kincaid and his trusty sidekick, Jake. Love me some Jake. He's getting old. He might be on a downturn right now, sir. Jake is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they do get older.
Yeah. We love brother Jake. I love him to pieces. Right now he's got the poor bastard's got a cone on his head right now. I don't mean to laugh, but he bumps into shit and it's I don't mean to laugh. That's not funny. You know, it would be hilarious if we could put a cone on like Ref Miggy or or Ref Bill, or maybe El Ref. Now that would be absolutely hilarious.
I'm sure they'd like to put a cone on you.
Ah, no one would like to see that. No, I highly doubt that. Well, maybe a few. Never mind. But any, but anywho, Ref Bill, it's been a little while since the beginning of the Kinkofa. Never mind. It's been a little while since the beginning of the whole mess of the world turning upside down. We drank a little alcoholic beverage, had a fine time, and I thank you for returning. I never thought you'd actually come back after that last time.
Either did I.
Yeah, so I appreciate that, first off. Second off, I've seen you doing some stuff in the interim because some companies have totally just stopped and they're not doing anything until whatever normal is. But in the interim, some companies have maybe splashed in an event here or there. A couple of them being Test of Strength, Paradise Alley Pro, some of our faves.
Yep.
And I know you've been at some of those shows doing some refereeing and such. But I want to bring it to a point to where, and I know you're not going to be happy because I'm going to this direction already. I want to bring it to a point where we had a send-off of one Blue Shoes Ref Gina. And I spoke with Ref Blue Shoes not that long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, maybe a week and a half ago. And it was Ref Bill. It was such a beautiful send-off to see her peers just gather around like that. And I just felt so warm in my heart with that. You were part of it. You were right there in the middle of it. I stepped back and I recorded it from a picnic table because I really wanted to get the scope of how many people actually came out for Ref Gina. Could you talk about that moment, please?
Well, I mean, they paid everybody to come out, so they did. They
okay.
they paid they're like, hey, nobody wanted to go out. They're like, hey, we'll pay you. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll go. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
but made a little chain on the side.
Yeah. So it was staged. It was a staged thing, and they got everybody out there, and some people really were like, got to pay me double. But in all seriousness, it was a very nice thing. Gina's worked very hard at working on her craft. We've done a number of shows together. We've occasionally traveled. And she's in Florida now. So, and I think she's doing some work down there. But it's different too. It's Florida is a very big state. I mean, you go from the bottom of Florida to the top of Florida. I'm presuming I know at least 4 or 5 hour difference. In some cases, even more. But Connecticut is kind of a central hub to be able to go to New York State, New York, Jersey, Massachusetts, and up into Maine and New Hampshire, and 2 hours either way is a pretty big demographic area to really get into.
Absolutely,
I think it's a lot different. But you know what? You have to step outside that box a lot of times. It's like you can't always go and work in all these different places, and it becomes very easy to go and work in the places that you go to all the time. But I have to say, going into a place that you don't really normally go to or haven't been to is a lot different. It gives you a lot of different perspective. You're not the veteran coming in. You're the, hey, this is somebody new. We don't know who it is. So, and COVID's been a little tough. I think a lot of us have looked at going, and doing some things differently. I can only speak from my perspective. I've kind of looked at what I've done over the last 2 or 3 years at least, and decided that this year is going to probably be not as tough, but still it's going to be a little bit of a tough year. Travel restrictions, you have to go. If you go to Florida, you come back, you have to test. That's 2 or 3 days at the minimum, up to a week, compared to quarantining for 14 days. So I'm lucky because I'm able to get tested through my employer whenever I want. I get tested probably every 10 days to 2 weeks, give or take, depends on how I feel or what my schedule is. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, but it's there. It's like, you have to do what you feel is right for you. And that was the move she felt was right. The fans and workers, appreciate the fact that, we as referees are very multi faceted in our job. You know, we are in the ring. We are making sure the ring is safe. We are making sure that the workers are safe, the talent is safe, whether we like them or we don't, whether they're a bad guy or a good guy or a heel or a baby face. Our job in there is to make sure that the show runs well and it runs on time. That people don't decide to take the mic and spend 45 minutes cutting a promo, and then hey, we're going to wrestle, and you're out there for an hour. So sometimes less, but it is what it is.
She also made her in-ring debut at that very show.
Yep.
Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap! We saw Blue Shoes in-ring performing. She tag team with. She now would like to be called Your Grace, the champ, the TOS champ, Karen Bam Bam. She tag team with her against Dan the Man and a mystery partner. Nobody came out to help him.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. So,
but yeah, Ref Gina, Blue Shoes, in-ring debut, mind blown, might I say, sir? Holy cow!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, it's definitely a different. I think from our perspective as referees, there's certain things that when that happens, when those moments happen, and I'm trying to put this in a very delicate frame, not to take away from anybody in the ring, but for us to delve in that area where we become part of the show is a very it's sacred. The ring is sacred ground, not just for everybody who will come in there, but everyone who's been there before. So for someone to get in the ring, to be a wrestler is a big deal. But for someone who has been in the ring in the capacity as a referee or what we do is different, because we've instantaneously changed our perspective on what's done there. There are big situations where you have to become more aggressive as a referee. There are situations where you have to use the thought process is a little bit different. But to get in and go from being a referee to a wrestler, you have to change your mindset. So for her to be able to do that, the issue she had with Dan the Man, or Danos, not the path that I might have necessarily chosen, but he seemed to really want to get under her skin, where other referees have treaded, but for whatever reason, there hasn't been that. What's that kind of thing where maybe he felt he was getting under her skin and continued to pull that scab off, where she got to the point where she felt she needed to do something, and rightfully so. I mean, there were a number of times he really did kind of go over the line. So it was what it is, and it was what it was.
And I speak on this show about storylines and characters in wrestling, some of my fave things within wrestling. But that storyline that they gave us, being Test of Strength, the storyline that they gave us over a course of the road shows, over a course of the training days splashed in between, we have seen this build up and build up. Ref Gina got a little bit of physical in some of these events that we speak of. And man, what a build up, what an ending. We were so sad to see her go. And I know we're kind of nucleusing right now around Ref Gina, but I know she's part of the clique, if you will. And I'm sure that you were sad to see her leave, because we don't want her to see her go. But she will. I have spoken to her. She will be coming up for some of Test of Strength's major events, maybe Lone Survivor, Fight for Your Dreams, stuff like that. So we might be seeing Ref Gina come home every now and then. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, I know that she has some plans, but I'm not really sure what they all are. I haven't talked to her in quite a while, although I take great pleasure in responding to her posts. Myself and El Ref, but not really sure what her plans are. But we have a number. Test of Strength has a number of qualified folks that will work into that. Mark did a really nice job at that show.
Mhm.
One of his first times being a referee
Yeah.
on a quote unquote bigger stage. Um, and we probably have I've had some conversations with quick conversations, text message with Slick Wagner Brown, but we always have a crew of ready, willing, and able people to kind of jump in, because you just don't know. Someone decides they don't want to do a show, or they have an issue, or they have an event, and you have to be very, very cognizant of making sure you have the referees. And if push comes to shove, you have one or two referees, and they do all the matches. That's what it comes down to. So,
I have noticed, and I know it's just not Test of Strength, but Test of Strength has a knack for stepping up when card is subject to change, if you will. A referee
yep.
can't make it, an announcer can't make it, a worker can't make it. They spin things around, and they really make their events kind of flow through to get us, the fans, the product, to get you guys and girls, your shine, if you will, in the ring and whatnot. So I've always seen that if there are people that have dropped out, couldn't make it, or what have you, and then there's some quick changes on the fly. Companies like Test of Strength, they've always stepped up and really gave us good product to have fun with.
Yeah, I think you find, with many promotions, some do it better than others. Is that you find that there's most all companies have a different vibe to them. And all companies have a different style. Test of Strength has their own style. Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling has its own style. I'm sure you've been to New World Extreme up on Rhode Island. They have their own style, and some styles kind of mesh together where you get a combination of multiple things. So, yeah, I would say that some people are more overt with the card subject to change, and some companies are like card is subject to change, and you'll see a surprise here or there, or somebody was not able to make it. So, you have to do what you have to do to run the business and be competitive.
Uh, this subject we're talking, it triggered me on something that's happening up in Maine, actually, up in Brewer, Maine. There's a company called Vacation Land, or Vacation Cup, or Vacation Land, I want to say. I don't quote me on that, because I'm not that bright. We know that. I'm almost positive it's called Vacation Land, and it's up in Brewer, Maine. There's an event coming up in February. I believe it's the first weekend of February, February 6th, maybe, or so. My point being, card subject to change. Around here in our area, we've seen a little buildup between one Chris Cannon and one Great Nuka. And I know you're familiar with both talents right now up to this point.
I am.
You've also been the official when it came to Cannon Nuka 2, if I'm not mistaken, at Shut Up and Wrestle 6 at Kevin Landry's in Holyoke. Is that correct, sir?
I was.
Wow. Holy shit, Nuka died for a little bit there.
It seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah, wow. But anywho, wrestling has moved on. A couple things are opening up. Do you know what those guys are doing up in Brewer, Maine? They're taking Chris Cannon. They're taking the Great Nuka. They're putting them. They're putting them together in a tag team, my friend. What the hell? What do you think is gonna happen out of that? Because I know you know both talents. That seems very volatile tag team to get together, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure who the booker is there. Maybe he doesn't know that they clearly know they don't like each other. But maybe for a few minutes they can coexist. I don't think that'll happen. But I'm not the promoter, and I don't, cut the checks. So all I know is that Brewster, Maine is up there, and it's a long drive, and it's February in New England. My daughter goes to school in Maine, and she just said they got more snow again. So, I guess we're supposed to get some snow this week. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from the DK Wasteland up to this event, it would be 5 hours 40 minutes. Yeah, I don't think I'm going.
Yeah, it's just a little bit north of where my daughter goes to school. So, um,
Wow.
but yeah, I've had a little interaction with them. Um, I've seen some stuff, but honestly, I've kind of just uh, decided with COVID to really just maintain, what I can do in the Connecticut area at this point.
Okay.
You alluded to earlier, Paradise Alley. We were able to pull off a 3 day, 2 day show with 3 events.
Hmm.
I think it was, and a 1 day and three
No, it
events. I
was one.
forget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1 day, 3 events.
yeah, and we were able to pull that off. We did also do our first iPay per view.
Hmm.
I think people have gotten smarter in regards to how to touch more fans. So I think you will see that um, an expansion in some way, shape, or form of the fan base where it's not all about the live events, which are always the most popular. But if you have somebody who is sick or somebody who can't get to the show, well, they could just pay their $5 and go and watch the iPay per view, and kind of go from there. So I think people have to be very, very in this business, very nimble and very business savvy, to understand that. So, and that's always been the case, but I think it's the case even more
Uh,
now.
and you have to roll with the times because we don't know what the hell is going to happen tomorrow, next week, the week after, a month after. So, however this takes us, whatever direction this takes us with the wrestling industry, as we speak of, you just kind of roll with the punches and just kind of go with it because like you're saying, you might not be able to have so many live events throughout the year now. You might only be able to do so many because you might have to do them just outside. You might have to only do what some companies, as PAPW has done, kind of like studio wars, if you will, where everything is taped within, no
Yep.
fans, couple workers or whatever. And that's exactly what Paradise Alley has done. But not only that, my friend, I've noticed on that iPay per view, the very first one, it's only $4.99. People, if you want to go check out the replay, ParadiseAlleyProWrestling.com, go take a look see. But what I've also noticed, there's been a cosmetic change within the PAPW facility. Wow, what a difference, sir.
Yeah, there were decisions made to and continue where we felt, and I don't want to speak for the ownership because that would be something I would not do. But I've
Mhm.
been in enough production meetings and part and actively involved in those production meetings where we decided that we needed to do things not differently but evolve more than anything. And I think you will continue to see um, that facility evolve. There's definitely a thought process. There's definitely um, a sense of we can do things differently. We can evolve, and we can be somewhat more at the forefront of some things we're doing. So I think, as you've seen with the product, probably over the last year or maybe even closer to 2 years now, the product has also changed. So there's definitely a lot of things there, and I would say continue to watch because there will be continue to be bigger, better, and brighter things going on. So.
I know you are not part of the higher brass, if you will, in PAPW, but do you uh, do you have any information? Are we going to be able to see more pay per views come out of Paradise Alley Pro on the reg throughout the calendar years?
I'd say based on the success we had with the last show, I could say that that would definitely be. I would think that would be highly likely.
Okay, uh,
Highly
folks.
likely,
Yeah.
and I would think you'll see. Uh, how do I want to put it? Highly likely, and you'll continue to see an enhanced or elevated product.
I've also noticed over the, like you were saying, over the course of the 2 years, visually, may it be within the facility, may it be within the roster,
Hmm.
and such. We have seen a little bit of evolution of PAPW, and I'm going to speak about part of this evolution because on Stir in the Pot, we had four all at one time. Four PAPW students that have started kind of broadening their horizons, spreading their wings at different companies. One Kylon King, one Flash Waller. We have, I'm going to mess their names up because it's kind of, again, evolution. Sean Knight and Jay Onyx,
Hmm.
collectively as the Haven. I had all four of them talent on one Skype. Now I want to speak to you about that part of the company because they've started molding students within PAPW as some other promotions have.
Hmm.
You know, you're seeing it firsthand. Right now we have Kylon King. He's a champion, Firebrand champion, XWA up in
Hmm.
Rhode Island, Warwick. We have Dustin Waller. He's a BST champion down in Bridgeport, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He's a Friday Night Alley Fight champion at PAPW. And then you also have former tag team champions of PAPW, the Haven. With those four talents, there's a lot of gold that are either now or have been and will be within their grasp. As you being part of PAPW firsthand, and not only that, of being in the events with these talents, seeing them grow, you must be seeing, you must have a little pride in your heart, just a little bit, because you're seeing the evolution of these kids that are actually becoming wrestlers right in front of your eyes, my friend.
Yeah, I have to say is that the group of I don't want to say rookie, I would say newer talent from Kylon King, Flash. I just call him Flash. The Haven. It's okay. I used to get them mixed up myself. Um, I think that is a group of, I would so to speak, use the term young lions in our company, and there are a number of other people that are training, um, but they have really kind of in the last, I would say, last year, probably more now. It seems like time
Mm-hmm.
pretty much flies when you're with these guys because in these kids because um, a month to 2 months to 3 months before you know it, it's a year. I mean, the pandemic is going on. We'll be rolling to almost a year now. So I think the last big show we did was in March of last year. Was at the Annex,
Yeah.
and then everything went cold. And so but they're training all the time. Some places have been luckier than others. I know the great group of people up at XWA in Rhode Island, that they all work there for back and forth, you know, and just Blood, Sweat, and Tears was able to do some very unique shows there, culminating with their bigger show in the, I think it was, we were late fall at that point. Um, the show we did there. And so fairly lucky that they've been able to get a lot of experience. So the fact is also that they've all done and worked actively in the Friday Night Alley Fights product is that I think that that's a very much a key piece of their overall development where they were able to get out there and work on their craft. So when they did leave, so to speak, they left the school, um, they had a lot of confidence at that point. I think it only goes to show just, with Kylon King going up to XWA and being the Firebrand champion, Flash Waller being the champion down at Blood, Sweat, and Tears, um, taking that title from Lucas Chase. It was just something that you don't see, and so now that we're representative outside of our company, in the Haven, had some earlier success than
Mm-hmm.
Flash and Kylon, um, and they had some tough battles with collusion, um, their subset POP, You have clearly the House of Pain,
Mhm.
Keem Ali, Nick Payne. Um, I think they learned a lot from fighting those guys, and just being involved in matches where they learn different things. But I think it's tag team wrestling is a little bit different because it's there. There are tag teams out there that are tag teams because they've been put together, and then you have tag teams that are actually really tag teams. I think they've all learned, and I think there's a tremendous upside to all of them. Um, I spent a little bit of time with them over, the last, I think I was with them on Monday. Some of them were doing training. So yeah, just a good group of kids. Respect the business the way it should be respected in regards to, the old school, thought process and the respect and honor for that. So I think you know, the future is very bright for all of them.
Definitely headed in the right direction. Very evident. I want to swing back to the BST, the last event at BST, because this was like a year and a half culmination
Mm-hmm.
of one Flash Waller going against the Cure Lucas Chase for this BST heavyweight championship. And if I'm not mistaken, my friend, you were like dead center in the middle of it all. It was a 60-minute Ironman match
Yes, it
over at
was.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears. First off, have you ever been part of a 60-minute man Ironman match? Second off, if you haven't been, holy shit, how'd you get through it?
I don't think I know I haven't done something that long before for continuing. I haven't done an Ironman before that. And if I did, it wasn't the full time, whatever the pin was. Um, yeah, definitely a challenge. I'm not really sure, I'm not tooting my own horn, but you've been around long enough and you've seen enough referees. I'm not sure if many referees, I have a few off the top of my head, I know could probably do it, but I took a lot of pride in the extra training I did prior to that. Just knowing that I was going to be out there. There are moments where things get a little, I don't want to say they slow down, but still, it's very physically, and that was a very physical match. There was a lot of banging around. I think I took a few pushes and bangs here or there. But yeah, it's definitely something that once you're in it, you don't really think of the time. It just time kind of goes. Although I'm responsible for keeping track of the time, I almost looked at my watch, not my watch, but my phone a few times and was like, oh my God, 20 minutes has gone by. So it was a very crazy match.
So it seemed to go a little bit quicker when you're in it,
Yes.
because like you said, you're not thinking about the time. You're focusing on what's happening right then and now within the match. So time seemed to get away from you a little bit.
Yeah, it does. You definitely turn around. You're like, oh my God, they've been in here for, it seems like 5 minutes. They've been out there for 25 minutes, and you're trying to count down the time. And I'm lucky because I have Matt Decor there, so he was kind of. I'd look over and prompted for, I'm like, oh, we must be around that 15-minute mark. We must be around a half hour. We must be around 45, 44 minutes. We must be close. So, and I'm pretty much like, we went till the end there. So, and we actually went longer than the Ironman. We went about 5 minutes longer, and lo and behold, as you know, the police showed up, which kind of added to the whole, momentum of the match. Where I'm looking at the police, and I got people flying around, so it was definitely interesting.
I've I've been to one of those at the kind of at not really the beginning of COVID, but I happened to be part of a WCWE thing, and the the officers showed up. That was interesting. But yeah, you guys not only did a 60-minute man Ironman match, but it restarted and it went like 5 more minutes. Like what? What the
Yeah, I
hell?
felt at that point that really I didn't feel that it could end that way. There had to be a winner. I talked to the general manager prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
and spoken to them and said, what if? I don't like to go into the ring with a lot of variables because there is a ton of, things can go wrong, things can change. It's ever changing. But one of the things I said, if we go the full hour and they're tied, what do you want to do? And they were like, throw in 5 extra minutes. And if that doesn't work, you go 10 minutes. And if that doesn't work, you go 15 minutes until you get sudden death, first pin. There you go.
Wow. Well, thank you to the BST management for that, because if there's anything that we did not want to see is a 60-minute Iron Man match that's been building up for a year and a half end in a draw. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
No, I don't even want to go there.
exactly.
So thank you to the BST management for allowing Ref Bill to get that kick started again and getting a definitive winner. That was awesome. And not only that, we had the changing of the guards, being Flash Waller winning that championship off of The Cure,
Yes. Yeah. Yep. It went to Flash's victory and very hard fought. I mean, and what more can you say? Both of them, love or hate, Lucas Chase. He did what he had to do, and things kind of fell apart at the end. So
now I know you don't stalk the boys and girls like I mean, I know you don't follow the boys and girls like I do on the face page, but there's been a little turn of events since the BST event. A little more respect between one Lucas Chase and one Flash Waller. There's pictures of them together hanging out, doing training and such. I don't know if you've seen those on the face page. So there's been a kind of a turn of events with the respect factor between them both.
yeah, I think I think there is that mutual respect. I mean, they may not love each other, but I think they, with the series of events that happen after, you have it's the Ric Flair Terry Funk, match that back in the old WCW NWA days where Ric Flair and Terry Funk hated each other's guts, and they had that final I Quit match, and Terry Funk said, "Hey, I'm going to shake your hand," and Gary Hart says to him, "What are you doing?" He says, "I told him. I says if you beat me, I'll shake your hand," and he shook his hand, and then Hart cheap shots Terry Funk. Flair comes in to help him. Then you have the Great Muta come in and his handler come in and start beating up on Terry Funk, and they start beating up on Ric Flair. Sting comes in to save him, to help out Flair and Funk, and then Lex Luger comes in. Ultimately, you end up with Luger, Flair, and Funk on the same side against Luger, Muta, and another partner of their choosing. So sometimes the respect level goes to where you may not enjoy being with them, but you're like, what, if I could count on that person and they're a tough SOB, I'll fight somebody. What's that? The enemy of my friend is my enemy. Something, I forget how it goes. So
yeah, something like that. And maybe that kind of circle back to Nuka Cannon. Maybe that's what's kind of, you never know. Maybe some of that respecting is going to end up happening up in Vacation Land.
Yeah, I've been in a ring with both Nuka and Chris Kanyon together. I've been in you had the attack by Chris Kanyon on Nuka. I was there for that. I've been in the ring with Nuka a number of times. I think I may have done both Nuka and Chris Kanyon's first matches, which is something that I say proudly. I get to do a lot of the first matches of a lot of these folks, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe for whatever reason they can coexist there. Sorry, I'm stretching my back, but let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about events, talents, promotions, and such. I want to talk about something that you get to be part of. It seems like on a yearly basis, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to the big event, which is not really that far away. Is that correct I'm saying?
I believe so. It's kind of been a mixed bag. I know it's been promoted. House of Pain, who I occasionally travel with. They kind of, they might not like me, but they respect me in the way where they're, he's, at least we believe he's trying to give us a fair shake in the ring, which I am. And I call it down the middle. We've done the big event at least 2 or 3 times, 3 times, maybe 4. I'm just trying to get more information. We're supposed to go, but I'm not sure how they're going to do it with COVID, because that's supposed to be coming up fairly, not soon, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to say anything because I am not the promoter. So I've reached out to that individual and waiting for an additional response back. So
okay. I can appreciate that. But I was curious because it's not only the big event. There's been a couple of these convention events that were supposed to be scheduled that have totally even been just pushed to the side or postponed, and they're trying to bring it back to the table. So I was just curious, but you are going to be part of that if it goes ahead.
Yeah. Yes. That's the plan. There was also something out of Hartford that was being done. And again, I'm not speaking for the promoter, but I know that they had to cancel that. But I know that that individual was very adamant about the fact that they will hold something when they can. So clearly my dog is barking in the background. So
I've met some of the fine talents, pets. What kind of animal do you have going on over there, my friend?
I have a terrier pug mix, more terrier than pug, and I have a beagle bulldog mix.
What are their names respectively?
One's name is Don, the other one's name is Kincaid.
Shut up. There is no way. Don. Get out of here. I don't see you on a daily basis calling either of your pets Don or Kincaid. Oh, look how damn cute. Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Hey, Don.
What a...
Look.
Hey, what up, bro? What up, dog?
Thank you. All right, Don, go chase the cat.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, Don, shoo.
Get out of here. I can never see that happening. Oh, that is just effing hilarious. Whew. Oh, I think I broke my spleen on that one. That was good stuff.
I'm glad I can entertain you.
Now, right now, speaking of, like, literally right now today, we are below sub-zero effing weather out there. So obviously there's no wrestling going on. But
it is cold as your heart is, Don.
Oh, wow. I did not really see that coming. But anywho, in the near future, being April 3rd, we have something coming up right 5 minutes down the road from my DK Wasteland. 5 minutes away at Ryder Smokehouse in Thomaston, Connecticut, we have Tessa Strength Dear Norma, and that is coming up, baby, and I cannot wait. Have you been keeping your eyes peeled on that card that they've been giving us on the face page, sir?
Yeah, I've kept my eyes open on it. So yeah, it should be. Listen, hopefully it's not snowing in April. So yeah, let's hope for good weather, and it should be a lot of fun.
Boys and girls, if you don't, and I know I've probably said this on a couple of these episodes, if you don't know who Tessa Strength is, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Give them a look-see up on the old face page, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, or whatever the hell that is.
TikTok.
TikTok. Instagram. Go on all of these things. Look them up. Check them out. Because there's some fine talent at these promotions. And Dear Norma, they have some debuting of the likes of Big Bacon. Brad Hollister is making his debut at Tessa Strength. Holy crap. That's going to be something. going
Yes.
against the greatest prize, Alec Price. That is going to be a fine match, my friend.
That could potentially be the match of the day.
The sleeper, if you will, the dark, the one that shines that you would never expect. Even though there's some fine names in there, there's so many fine names surrounding the rest of that one match. So yeah, very possible that could be the sleeper match right there. Big Bacon versus the prize, Alec Price. That is insane. I cannot believe they're going to be hosting that at TOS. That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Now, also, at Test of Strength, you said that because Ref Gina, she's gone her way down to Florida. Ref
Yep.
Jordan, he's been fired. That kid can't keep a job to save his ass. But you also have Ref Mark that is starting to step up. Are we going to see any other referees do you know of? We have Ref Bill. We have Ref Mark. Do you know if we're going to see anything, anybody else at Dear Norma coming up?
I don't know. I'm presuming so. Sometimes, there have been times where it's just two referees and we go back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes we do two matches and then we do two matches and then somebody else does, you go back and forth for it. So, we'll see, we'll have to see how it goes. I know that we're always very well prepared. And you have to just say at some point it is what it is. Sometimes you are supposed to have four referees and only two show up, and sometimes you're supposed to have two and somebody shows up to get some work. Oh my God, you're walking right off camera there. That's good. I'm sure. So yeah, we're always very well prepared.
Well, I cannot wait. I, for one, being selfish, I can't wait for Dear Norma. April 3rd, Ryder Smokehouse, Thomaston, Connecticut. $20 in advance, 25 at the door. They do the temperature. They do the whole 9 yards over there. You got to do the mask and all of that. They've already had a couple shows in this past, summer into fall.
Yeah,
man, some fine times, and we saw the dethroning of Danos. We saw the Danos era end, and Queen Bam Bam lives. That for us fans, and I don't know if you heard that pop, my friend, because I know when you boys and girls are in the ring, you don't always hear the vibe all the time because you're so focused on what's going on. But the crowd, we lost our absolute ever-loving shit. When Queen Bam Bam overthrew Danos, it was amazing. Are you okay, my friend? I know you've done an interview previous to this. Are you okay?
I'm sorry, you were putting me to sleep.
Oh, that's quite all right. You won't be the first, and you won't be the last. I am sure of that.
Yeah, that match was pretty amazing. Clearly, you knew I was knocked almost unconscious at one point.
Good.
I'm not really sure how that's funny, but that's fine. So
good times.
Checking how your shin's doing there.
Hey. Ooh.
But was a good match. Coming down and hitting the three. I definitely heard the roar of the crowd where I was like, all right, clearly this is over and I'm just going to lay here for a few extra seconds. And then realized I had to wrestle Karen Bam Bam's arm and, much overdue, tremendous competitor, absolutely wonderful person, the complete opposite of Danos. Much deserved, very hard fought victory. So,
yeah, that's for sure. Now, we have lost Ref Gina down to Florida, but you still have your Goomba, your pal, your amigo, El Ref. You guys like to poke fun a little bit, jazz Ref Gina a smidge, if you will. And she ended up putting up. Go ahead.
Yes, we do like to give the Ref Gina a hard time, so it's very easy. We have there's a number of referees around, from El Ref to who does primarily PAPW, but will do something else occasionally. I know he had mentioned something about trying to work with Blood, Sweat, and Tears because that's in his almost his neighborhood. John Mendez, who does a great job for Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. He's primarily, like I said before, John has been absolutely fantastic. Really worked on training El Ref and myself. There's a number of very younger, competent referees who, will get the opportunity to work in the ring, which is what it's all about. It's not all about just, one referee being out there. It's a team effort. It's what knowledge I have goes to anybody who asks me a question, whether it's a referee or a fan and wants to be a referee. A lot of good folks out there. So a lot of good referees.
Now, before we bring this down to a tail end, there's a fan question I got for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but believe it or not, it's more of a statement, actually. This comes from one Jake Olay. We like to Jake Olay. We like to call him Jake Olay, right? But
yeah,
anywho,
it's not funny.
Jake Olay, tell Ref Bill he's the best ref in the game, and checks in the mail. What's that? What's going on with you and Jake Olay and money? What's going on there?
I would just like to say I'm offended by the reference that you've made there, that there's some form of payment to Big Jake, as I call him.
That's what it says.
He also doesn't really, from the conversations we have, he does not like you either. He said something, except I talk about your shins. He talks about your spinal cord. So, yeah. But the thing about Jake, who is an amazing competitor, and if I am correct, he is a brand new dad. He would wear the most amazing older vintage wrestling shirts, where he would have the Rick Rudes, the Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, just stuff that you would not see people who, honestly, quite frankly, sometimes you've talked to people, you ask them who, everybody knows Ric Flair, Jake the Snake Roberts, but does, someone know Rick Rude, and so, he always pays homage to the old school, to the people that have been there before him, was a member of that faction with Howell and Frost. What were they called? Less Money, Change Purse, something?
Now that's hilarious. Collectively, when they were all together, they were called the New Impact Players at one point. But right now, it's Cold Cash. Cold Cash.
Just so we're clear, there is only one group that could call themselves the Impact Players.
The new Impact Players.
There doesn't matter if you put new or old. There's only one group of the Impact Players. Do you know who they are?
Well, that's on them, not on me.
No. Do you know who the original Impact Players were?
Ref Bill, Ref Tucker, Ref Jordan, Ref Gina, El Ref, and Ref Will. Did I say Ref Will already? Ref Will.
No, I think they were wrestlers, you dangling.
Share. Who are the
if I am correct, which I think I am, Lance Storm and Just Incredible from ECW days.
Yeah. You don't want to piss some guys off. Although Ryan Frost, he does have a W over one Just Incredible. I gotta give it to him. He's got a W.
Yeah, he's very underrated. Also, as Mr. Howell is underrated. Don't ever sleep on that group there.
No.
Don't ever sleep on that dynamic duo. But back to Jake, great guy, like him very much, and I don't know. just I mean, I don't know, your shins, your possible spinal cord. I don't know. It's got a lot of breakable parts there, but I'm just saying, accidents happen. Shins are kicked,
Yeah,
back
so
breakers are given. So
and you know what? Speaking of broken stuff on my body, my father likes to sell me out. Hey, Ref Bill, you forgot to kick him. He's right here. You would do a U-turn, come back to me and kick me, and then take off and be like, thanks, Pop. What the hell? My Pop selling me out. Like, what the F, man? What the hell?
your father is an absolute gentleman, and I don't know what you're talking about. I think part of the problem is that you've probably had a little too much moonshine in the course of your life or before a show, and you probably have some delusions, if not delusions of grandeur. And you have this thing where your father says, "Hey, Ref Bill, you missed my son," and then you accidentally hurt yourself, and then you're like, "Oh, Bill did it," and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm in the ring." So that, and some of your fans that hang out with you. I think it's all conspiracy, and I think that your father sees through this conspiracy and is a stand-up gentleman, a fine gentleman, any day of the week.
Wow. I don't want to talk ill about my father because Papa Kincaid, he's my papa, but he does sell me out on the reg, and it's not only with you, and it pisses me off. But I don't have any fans. I'm just a guy with a phone. We hang out. We have some fun.
You are right. You don't have any fans.
There's no way that nobody's a fan. I do not have. If anybody, like I said, if anybody gives a shit about what's going on here, it's my Papa Kincaid and my fur brother Jake. Yeah, Papa Kincaid, stop selling me out. When you watch this, if you are watching this, please to the end, stop selling me out. I'd really appreciate it.
He's the only one watching this.
I know. Maybe I'll ref because he loves you to pieces. He really does love you.
He does. I like your father very much.
Now, Ref Bill, I know you've had yourself quite a busy afternoon. You talked to Donovan previous to this. He got the scoop before I did that little booger face. But that's okay. That's okay. He's the future. So that's fine. I would never get mad at Donovan. Love that kid to pieces. Love him. Camera lady. Oh my goodness. Is she a character? She loves to have fun. She is some. Who's that?
What's that?
Who is that?
Well, you have Don, one of my dogs, and Kincaid is my other dog. This is Don Kincaid right here.
Shut up! Your cat is Don Kincaid.
Come here, Don. Don Kincaid, come here.
Oh my God! Your poor wife. She must want to kill you. That's all I know.
That's funny. You actually made me laugh because I'm divorced. But anyway.
Oh. Oh, my bad.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Oh wow. For the first time in the whole hour, we got to
I'm literally laughing. I think I wet my pants a little bit. It's so funny. Hey, be quiet, Don. Quiet, Don.
Oh, whoa. What a great way to end. We got a tickle out of one Ref Bill. That is amazing. First one.
Yes. Currently waiting for my divorce, but yes. Don, don't make me spank you.
Hey. Wow. Whoa.
Come on, Don. You want to say goodbye, Don?
What up, Don? Ref Bill, I cannot thank you enough for spending the time with us, the fans, for this past hour and getting to know you just a little bit more. We were introduced to your extended fam, if you will.
Yes, Don. Look at the face. He looks just like you.
And we also met Don Kincaid. Fine feline.
Kincaid is just sitting down in the living room, taking it easy.
I'm down with that. Thank you for your time, opening up your home. Your extended little extra kisses for Papa.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it, sir.
All righty. I guess we'll say goodbye and unhit that record button.
Yeah. This has been Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest. We had one Ref Phil, we had one Don, we had one Kincaid, and we had one Don Kincaid. Wow, what a packed house we had today. Thank you, Ref Phil.
Thank you for everything.